So we're going to give this a whirl. This is Reverend Shae Moyers with Phoenix Consulting, and wanted to touch base with you regarding our predictions for 2017. Every year for the last 3 or 4 years, I have done a video to discuss what's ahead for us for the year, and getting down specifically to specific events, consciousness things, just a wide variety of different, events and happenings. And I went to do the video this year, and I sat waiting to see what was going to be in store, to see what was coming, and I waited. And I continued to wait. Finally, on New Year's Day, I got a message. And the message was pretty clear, and it was direct. And that message was, you cannot run from what you're supposed to be doing. You cannot run from what you're supposed to be doing. I was a bit confused and kind of sat there, and I'm thinking, you're not supposed to run from what you're supposed to be doing. What does that mean? Well, I got shown a couple of things in my own personal life, some scenarios that are happening that basically showed me that if you're supposed to be doing something that is part of your soul contract or part of your contract that you made when you came into this existence, you're going to be held accountable to that this year. There is no changing of the program. There is no negotiating or renegotiating specific contract points. It is, you have said or made promises or put yourself in a position to where the universe, God, the fates, whatever you want to call it, they're going to make you basically fulfill those obligations. There is no running if it gets tough. There is no, running away. Because the more that you run, the more it will find you and the bigger that it will get. That was the message. You may have noticed over the last, right before New Year's Eve and all through December, there was a growing panic among the U.S., among all of us, as we were watching, all these creative people, artists, celebrities, movie stars, political figures, people that, we consider legend, or they are part of our collective consciousness as, as humans, leave the planet. And the alarm bells kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and everyone's going, what does this mean? What does this signify? And my phone was ringing. I myself was kind of like, what's going on here? And the message was that they had fulfilled their duty. They are now needed elsewhere on the other side of this to help facilitate us and what we're supposed to be doing over the next year. We're preparing for a new president to come in, and I'm not one to get political on my videos or, on my wall. And the one thing that keeps me from having a complete panic attack is that we are having to rely upon what we know to be true, established facts. And that truth is that we have a Congress, we have a Senate, we have a Constitution, we have hundreds and hundreds of years of law that have stood the test of time, that have stood through wars, that have stood through civil wars. They will not be undone by one person simply because they think it's a good business decision to go a particular way. The world does not work like that. That is the only thing that I have put my faith in. I have put my faith in what I know to be true. And that is what we're being asked to do. We are being asked to step back and to assess before you engage, rather than make emotional, rash, possibly, detrimental decisions to your life. And just take a minute with that. That goes contrary against everything that what we know as human beings. We tend to rule from an emotional place rather than from a gut place. We react out of fear. We react out of anger. We decide to do things in our lives for us. And then we think about the people that it's going to impact. Our family, people in our sphere of influence, or our social sphere. If you're a teacher, or if you're, if you are a leader of some kind, and you're being tested right now to really walk your talk. And you may find that there are things, minefields, and bombs being dropped upon you that are really scaring you. And you wonder if the persona that you've projected out to the world and to these people is strong enough to handle this battle that's going on. And what it really is that the universe is taking all of our preconceived notions, all of our projections of what we do to make ourselves look good in public, to, our coworkers, our family, just in even our social circles, all those masks and those perceptions of who they think we should be, and then we assimilate that belief and try to mold ourselves to that. That ain't working anymore. And there are people that are catalysts that they themselves, to be honest, really could give a fuck. And they live authentically. I tell my students all the time, the truth is your greatest weapon. It is your biggest sword. And if you have that, and you're willing to show that, and that means taking a risk. It means being vulnerable. It means admitting to your mistakes. It means saying, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What you will find is it's in those moments of vulnerability that is where you find your power. In those moments of weakness of the flesh, of spirit, of mental weakness, that we either continue on and suck it up and refuse to acknowledge that we're driving on, the rims of a broken down truck, rather than stop and repair the damage that we've incurred or the damage that we've done to ourselves before moving on to the next thing that we're supposed to do. And so that's kind of where things are going this year. We're getting stripped naked and bare, and we're getting back to basic. the way that the new year started out, we started out at a new moon. So everything is building. We watched earlier in the week of a mother and daughter passing away within 2 days of each other, simply because that was what they were supposed to do. And the people that are left behind are having to find strength and, courage and be brave from areas that they never thought that they would have to go, or deal with situations that they never thought they would have to deal with. That is the message for the year for us. There are going to be situations that you never thought you would have to deal with. There are going to be conversations that you have with people that either you've been avoiding or that you really don't want to have, but what you're going to find is that you're going to have them. And the way that this can go, it can go easy or it can go hard. And the more that we allow those broken spaces, those places in us that are our humanness, our weakness, to come through, i.e., who we really are and our truth, the harder ball the universe is going to play with you. About a month ago, I had a very dear friend have an issue. And they felt that with everything going on, and just from a buildup of circumstances of life, life circumstances that had happened, they decided that it wasn't worth being here anymore. And this person is one of the strongest people I know. And they broke and shattered into a million pieces. Thank God that they are still here. They are in the process of rebuilding their life. But it was in that moment where you get a phone call that you don't want to get, or that you see something that you never thought you would see. You realize that no matter how strong you are, that there is always someone out there that is worse off than you. And they may be silent about it, and you would have never expected it. But I can tell you, in that moment of hearing about this event, and not only that, hearing about 2 such type events within the scope of 24 hours, I took a look at my own mortality. And I faced the fact that, I'm human. I'm really human. I'm scared. And what I realized was this: it's okay to admit to be afraid. Everyone has watched me evolve over the last 18 months, about the last 14 months. And the person sitting here talking to you now is not the same person that sat in front of you a year and a half ago. And I tell people all the time that I am more uncomfortable now and feel more vulnerable and naked now, as I have kind of, shed this weight and kind of, pull the curtains back, so to speak, that as I've done that, what I have found is that my ability to kind of sugarcoat things or dismiss or run from has literally disappeared in the same way that the pounds have disappeared off of me. My biggest fear right now, and I've shared this with a couple of friends, is that I'm going to gain that weight back. That is my biggest fear. I don't want to go back to that place of where I was a year and a half ago. Do I like where I am at now? Yes and no. I have my days. But it is extremely uncomfortable to be here. And it's extremely uncomfortable to admit on this video that I am that way. You know, there were some things that happened to me in 2016 that I never would have thought would have happened, because number one, I thought I was smarter than that. And number two, I thought I was stronger than that. And there were two particular things that happened that broke me. And I'm not talking just minor broke. I'm talking shattered in a million pieces. And it took me a long time to kind of figure out that that's what was going on. Was that I kept pushing forward. And finally, my body, my spirit, the universe said, no, enough, stop. And I literally watched my body begin to fail. And even from a metaphysical standpoint, when you look at kidneys and bladder and liver and all of the area down there, that's all basically your gut. That is your core. It's your center of power. It's your soul talking. And my soul was sick. And I refused to acknowledge it. But finally, I couldn't run from it anymore. And I had to sit for about 2.5 weeks with the fear of losing my job, of losing credibility, of, oh my God, what are people going to think because I've had this illness? And at the same time, I'm losing personal relationships around me. I am being told, horribly negative things about me. And I'm watching people that I love literally sink. And there's not a damn thing that I could have done about it. I had to just be very in that moment, in that process. And am I still 100%? I'm about 90. But what this did was give me a chance to step back and get some clarity about some situations. And that's where the message started for 2017, was that you're going to be held accountable and responsible to do the work that you've agreed to do. Whether that be you've signed a physical contract or a verbal contract or a soul contract, you are going to be held accountable and responsible for the energy that you put out, for the personas and the mask that you wear. They're basically going to say, let's pull the mask away and see if really, here, oh, is it the same person that we know? For some people, this is going to be a rude awakening. For others, it's going to be a relief of, oh, thank God, I don't have to hide anymore. And just take a moment and sit with that. We can't hide behind a mask anymore. We can't hide behind, a persona that we send out to the world. I've had a lot of people compliment me and come forward and say to me, hey, I've watched you, change over the last 1.5 years. And, you've inspired me. And thank you for doing that and being open about it. And that kind of thing makes me uncomfortable. For the sole reason of not only have I tried to work on my physical being, but I've also had to do the emotional work. And this has been 2016 was probably one of the hardest years of my life so far. And was I glad to see 16 go? Absolutely. Is there some carryover and bleed over that's happening for, within the first couple of days of this year? We're January 2nd today. I can tell you, yes, it is happening. We're being called to change our habits, how we eat, how we look at things. And for some of us, for all of us, there are going to be times that we just simply say, I can't do it. I don't want to do this. But yet you're going to find yourself doing it anyway. The key how to get through this is to listen. Listen to your gut. Do the right thing. Even if that means that you take a risk of losing everything. It's better to take the risk and hang on to what you know to be your truth than choose to do nothing at all and let someone else decide your course for you. Whether that be, Trump, it be your boss, it be your family. You are the one that steers the boat. You are the captain of the ship. What direction you go is up to you. Is there always going to be the right direction? No. But you can alter course. And what people have been really stuck in this mindset of, once I set this course or once I make this decision, I cannot change my mind. Yes, you can. You always have a choice. There are consequences and reactions to any choice that you make. But at the end of the day, if you can look at yourself in the mirror as a person, as a human being, and say, number one, did I make a difference today? Number two, am I being truthful with myself? Did I screw some things up today? Yes. Did you apologize to anyone that you've hurt? Did you admit maybe that you were wrong in a situation and ask for forgiveness in that? There's a wide variety of things that you can do, but if you know that you did the best that you could that day, that's how I measure myself now, is number one, did I make a difference with someone today? i.e., was I nice to them when I really didn't want to be? Did I get into it with someone and maybe let my temper get the best of me and admit that I was wrong and that I apologized? Or simply maybe smiled at someone. Those things make differences with people. We don't realize that. And I can look at myself in the mirror and say, did I do a good job today? Some days I nail it and I hit it out of the park. But most of the time I'm like, yeah, I did okay. I did okay. And tomorrow, we'll get up and we'll do it again. We may have learned something, or we may have to deal with something that we're real nervous about dealing with. I've been off for 10 days. I go back to work tomorrow. And I have a different attitude than when I left the 23rd of December. And these past 10 days, I'm different. And I know that's going to carry over into the coming year. But what they're asking and what they're saying to you in summary is this: look, listen, and then move. Think about your decision. Really think about what you're doing and drop into your gut. And it comes down to a yes or no question. Is this right for me? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, then okay, then you ask, is this right for me right now? Or is this right for me long term? Because right now we're being asked to look long term. How is this decision going to impact you over the next month, 6 months, year? Does what you do, does it impact other people around you? Are you going to let people down? Are you going to bring people up? And just know that while it may be you may be able to take an easy out, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find that way is shut. And that you're going to be held to promises and commitments that you've made. And simply the message from what I keep hearing and what I've been told and what's come through in my journaling has been, keep walking. It's going to be okay. You will know where the mines are at in the minefield. You will know when the storm's coming. You'll have the proper weather gear to manage and navigate through, these storms that are coming. Because this is a tumultuous time. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of chaos. And many people are afraid. And that fear is being projected, and it's upsetting the waters. It's upsetting the boat. And we're all reacting on some level to this collective shriek of, oh my God, we're being asked to move and to go higher, and to, oh my God, we have to change. And yeah, we're being asked to change. And they're saying, look, this can go easy or it can go hard. So my advice is that if you hurt someone, either through word or deed, last year, and you did it out of spite or you did it out of anger, reach back to them. And if you know that your words or your actions harm them in some way, and they didn't really deserve it, apologize. Ask for forgiveness. Because what you'll find is that when you do that, not only do you free yourself, but you gain a friend and you gain an ally. And then at the same time, I'm going to also ask that you look at yourself. Are there things that you've done or did in the last year that have harmed you or have caused you emotional pain or isolated you or put you in a position to where you feel backed into a corner? And if you have, which we all have, is you can make a different choice. And the first step is doing that is acknowledging and saying, yeah, I did this. The next step is to be figuring out how the hell to either fix it, rectify it, or go around it. And to go around it, you're going to have to go through it. Meaning, that old expression of you make your mess, you got to lie in it. That's a point in case here. But once you do that, you'll see that the things that no longer serve you will simply fall away. And the good things that you've been resisting or that have been kind of hanging around on the peripheral are suddenly going to come roaring in, and you're going to go, huh? And you're going to get these unexpected blessings. And so that's my message to you for 2017. It's way different than what it has been in the past. I will put up a predictions video, predictions of actual events, but it's going to be short and sweet and to the point because this is a moving train and it's a very fluid situation. So from my heart to yours, I wish you peace. I wish you blessings. I wish you abundance and prosperity for the coming year. Know that you are loved and that you are supported by a higher hand than what we know. And that there's always someone, quote unquote, that has your back. So if you feel like you're kind of out there by yourself, No, you're not. Reach out. If nothing else, please know that I have your back, that we are here, and we are loving you, and we're praying for you, and we wish the best for you. And so with that, I'm going to say Happy New Year. I will see you when I do my energetic forecast. And please feel free to check out my site, radiantphoenix.com, and my Facebook page for Phoenix Consulting for more information, or if you'd like to schedule a session. And today is January 2nd at 6:08 p.m. And we are going to wish you a good night.